And good day. Welcome to Queenship's podcast, where we speak to women who are beautiful on the inside and out, taking a holistic approach to a fulfilling life. Now, today we are diving into an interesting topic: feminine versus feminist. Is there a difference, and does one contradict the other? And where does feminism even come from? What does it even mean to be a feminist? So let's dive right in. So let's start with the history of feminism. Now, the first wave of feminism started around World War. Now, I'm not sure which one. It's World War I and World War II, where the men were occupied with war. So none of the jobs weren't occupied because the men were occupied with the war. So the women had to fill in the spaces that men were no longer occupying. And this was around the time where women didn't have their own accounts. They couldn't earn their own property. They couldn't do anything without a man. They had to rely on a man's income. If you weren't married, you was basically struggling to get by. In Europe, the Caucasian women, I believe their first job was selling themselves, selling their bodies, because sex sells. And some women, around this time, women didn't get married for love. They got married for security. They got married if he had money, he's a good man. If he took care of her, he's a good man. But some women had to endure abuse, whether that's financial abuse or physical abuse, emotional abuse, and she wasn't able to leave or go anywhere unless she had another provider. She would have to. It's called a monkey. These days, it's called like a monkey bar, something like that, where you go from relationship to relationship. Women had to do that for survival, for security. And then World War came, and then women got a taste of freedom, financial freedom. She was able to make her own money. She was able to make her own decisions financially. She was able to breathe, and she didn't have to stay in a relationship out of necessity. She could decide to stay in a relationship or leave if she wanted to. Women had a freedom that they didn't have before, after patriarchy, after white patriarchy. So they fought for the freedom. During the ancient times, women weren't restricted financially or socially or whatever. They were able to go out in the world and make their own way. Women were seen women were seen as honorable, respected. They were seen as mother of all nations. They they held power. They were held in such a high regard in ancient times that man took the woman's last name. There was this matriarchy where rulership was passed down through the daughter. Now we live in a patriarchal system where it's now shifted, but the thing was, man men were allowed freedom. This is why I say white patriarchal system, because there's actually a lot of reasons. Although I do not feel that I know enough in this area as to why they do what they do, I could make an assumption based off of the story of Akub and how the the Caucasoids, the Caucasians that were from the Caucasus Mountains that were grafted and created, and they were exiled, made to survive on the earth, and eventually they started to regress biologically, and they had to kill and fight for their food. And at some point, maybe through their progression, males were more feminine. They started to have relations with other males, and the females were masculine. They were considered to be savages, to the point where they had to be civilized by the black royals. They have to be taught how to bathe and eat healthy and take care of themselves. And they kept going through pandemics. They kept getting sick, and they would raid Africa for herbs and medicines and whatnot. And the white males, they weren't considered men. They were considered kind of a man. And this is relevant today because they've had to work in order to be seen as more powerful and more to compete with black men. Black women didn't have to fight for freedom. They didn't have to fight to be equal. They didn't have to fight for rights. Women had freedom until white patriarchy. The white patriarchy started to bleed into the African culture because they invaded Africa. They kept invading Africa, and then the white males, they noticed how much respect the women were getting in Africa, and they started to mock the men because they didn't believe that women deserved the certain rights. They believed that women didn't deserve power, control, respect, or all that type of stuff. White women know more about oppression than black women do, which is still true to this day. Now, there are some cultures where it's women have what's it called, where you don't choose who you marry. Arranged marriages. In India, I believe that they still have arranged marriages. So there are women who rebel against traditional culture where they want to choose who they marry, or they want to choose not to marry. But that type of culture shames women for waiting too long to get married. We could argue that these countries that have these types of cultures have been colonized. But like I said, I don't know enough to speak on that. So now moving into today, we have feminists, women who fought for the right to have financial freedom, to have the option to make their own money. The problem that I see is that the only people who judge women for working or staying at home or whatnot are other women. But a woman being a stay-at-home wife is her exercising her right to choose. A woman being a businesswoman is her exercising her right to choose. I see no problem either way. The point of the feminist movement is for her to have the right to choose, the freedom of choice. Does femininity and feminist butt heads? Does the feminist movement and femininity contradict one another? It doesn't have to. The issue is the mindset behind being a feminist. You don't have to compete with men. Men do not care. Make your money, sis. Get your bag. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove that you're the strongest. You don't have to prove that you're better than a man. Just get your money. Get your bag up. That was the point behind the feminist movement to begin with. It wasn't so that we could compete with men. When you compete with a man, that's where you start to develop this masculine energy. You're putting yourself in an energy where that men are typically in the energy where they're competitive, where they're trying to be the best, where they're trying to be on top, where they're trying to get their money up, where they use their money and their status to dictate their importance, their level of importance. When did we fall to that standard of behavior? Did we lose sight what the feminist movement was all about? Now the feminist movement is moving into relationships. Oh, I can take out the trash too. You don't have to. Oh, I can lift that box too. You don't have to. Oh man, both males and females should cook. But if you don't know how to cook and you don't want to cook, then that's a conversation that you need to have with your partner. It's a partnership. It's not a dictatorship. Now, this is a very nuanced topic. Like I was saying before, different cultures have different expectations for males and females. Some things aren't much of a conversation because nature chooses your roles. And then there are some cultures that have standards for men, where you shouldn't be allowing a female to take out the trash. That's a certain standard. But some females may maybe like some feminists believe that it's ridiculous that only a man should have to take out the trash. And then I've also heard about the makeup and how certain beauty standards are a form of oppression. Where, oh, I shouldn't have to wear heels. You don't have to. You don't have to wear heels or makeup to be a feminine woman. Femininity is a character trait. It's an energy. It's an embodiment. It's not what you look like, it's not what you wear, what you have, it's who you are. And despite contrary belief, being working and making your money and being inclusive in capitalism doesn't make you more masculine. Femininity is one trait, or the feminine energy multiplies. It attracts, is magnetic, it's abundant. They say the bank is an institution. Well, women create institutions. Family is the first institution, and women create families. Yes, with the help of a man, but the embryo is developed in the woman. Women birth nations. Women create institutions. Women have a very pivotal world and pivotal women have a very pivotal responsibility in this world. Man created this world, but women created man. Some feminists, not all, but some feminists make it seem like the role of a mother or the role of a wife is obsolete. A woman can't be fulfilled as a mother, but being a mother and a wife is a fulfilling role. You do have a contribution in this world. You don't have to be an accountant or a lawyer to prove that you add value. You hold value. You don't have to be a doctor to prove that you hold value, that your existence is meaningful. There is also a pressure that comes with feminism, where it's like, oh, you have to be a superwoman. Feminists say there's pressure with being feminine, with the makeup and the heels and the dresses and the bras and being perfect all the time, but then there's pressures with holding down a job and being independent. When certain jobs, the competitive jobs, the competitive workplace, the trying to be on top and be on time and work 12 hours and then try to work through your pregnancy and then work after your pregnancy is exhausting. A woman's body is not supposed to be stressed out. This causes health issues. You start to age faster. Now, this doesn't mean don't work. This may just mean you can work any job that you want to work. You can work a job that requires you or that allows you to remain in your feminine energy, like a teaching job or nurse. Because when you're a nurse, that allows you to practice your nurturing trait. Because being nurturing is a woman's natural trait. Being a mother is a part of a woman's true nature. A woman's not supposed to be stressed out all the time. She's not supposed to lift heavy things all the time. It puts a toll on her body. A man is for that. A man has the bandwidth for that type of environment. And heels, you don't have to wear, like I said, you don't have to wear heels to be feminine. It just makes you feel cute. Heels are cute. What can we say? Makes you feel sexy and it stimulates your calves. It really puts an outfit together. And yes, I do agree that there are way too many men in the fashion industry. That's why we had Coco Chanel, but she passed, and when she passed, she didn't have no kids. She didn't have no daughters, so she had nobody to pass her legacy on to. She ended up having to pass down her legacy to men who passed down that legacy to other men, to their sons. And yes, some women don't want to have kids, but when we become too career oriented, we allow that fertility. We allow ourselves to pass the time that we could have had cultivating a family so that we can contribute to society. Adding more bodies and adding more people to this planet Earth is a contribution, is a very important contribution. That's why when these males in the red pill manosphere community talk about what do you bring to the table, I can bring another you. I can make another you. Now it's understandable when some men go through the hardship of dealing with some females who may be limited in certain knowledge or certain traits. I don't quite know. Some of the females that they complain about are the career-oriented women. Women who are so focused on getting a job and being employable and getting good grades, and they're solely focused on their career. Those are the females that they complain about the most. The independent women who don't need a man. And did I talk about the feminist movement primarily being led by white women? Because they are the ones who are fighting for the power that their man had. They're the ones who were the wives of the colonizers. They're the ones who have to compete for attention or respect, pardon me. They're the ones who have to prove that their worth, their existence isn't obsolete. The white women were the ones who weren't considered valuable unless they birthed a son. Black women didn't have to go through that. Black love is potent. Black love is surreal. Black love is powerful. The love in of itself is power. The union between black men and women is power. We didn't have to fight for respect. We already had it. Man giving women respect in the black community is innate. It's a part of our nature. It's a no-brainer. Why would you give stress to the woman who has to carry your child? And then there's this thing with the appearance. Just because you are a part of the working class doesn't mean you can let go of your appearance. Women do what makes them feel good, and taking care of yourself and looking gorgeous and beautiful and jaw-dropping and stopping conversations makes a woman feel good. A woman in her feminine energy, femininity in the workplace could be leveraged. This is where we have it wrong when we revert to the rah 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 and the I don't need you mentality. We end up losing. We end up entering into a losing battle when we try and beat the man. And being a woman is more than enough. You can get whatever you want being feminine. And it doesn't mean giving your body up. A man, I believe I brought this up before, but a man saying that you have to give up your body in order to have value, he's a liar, because you lose your value when you give yourself up too easy to somebody who doesn't want to commit to you, doesn't take you serious, and just wants to use your body for his own selfish reasons. If a male tells you, oh, you have to lay down in order to get this position, quit or report him after you get evidence. Don't lay down for guys like that. They're abusive, they're manipulative, and you're working against yourself. That's offensive for a man to only see value in what you can do for him. It's perverted. And then there's some feminists who actually, what's the word, like feed into or they're actually feeding into the patriarchal agenda and they don't even know it. And a man is not supposed to be alone, and a woman is not supposed to be alone. It's not our nature to be alone, to live by ourselves. If you don't want to have kids, and some people aren't able to have kids. And with the over-chemicalized food industry that we live in today, it's understandable why some of us males aren't able to have kids and females aren't able to have kids. What I don't agree with in regards to what a feminist said is that makeup, I agree and I disagree. When it comes to capitalism, industries do capitalize over women. That's why there are more males in the fashion industry, and there are scientists behind making makeup and all type of stuff, and usually there are more males in those fields, and women are more gullible than men are. It's easier to sell products that you don't really need to a woman. Women and children are the easiest targets when it comes to the industry. So I do agree that women are targeted in these areas. But I don't agree that you should allow yourself to let yourself go just because you don't want to appease the patriarchal system, just because you don't want to feed into the patriarchal system. I don't see an issue with looking beautiful. being beautiful, dressing beautiful, walking feminine, talking feminine. I don't see an issue in those types of things at all. Being motherly, being nurturing, being loving. I don't see an issue with that. That's what makes us a woman. That's what separates us from man. Our femininity. We're more gentle. We don't need more aggression in this world. We need more softness. That's the balancing act. We have way too much masculine females. And these are typically the women who are career oriented. Because you have to tap into that masculine energy in order to sustain working and having this type of flow. Working 12 hours. Our body needs to rest. We have cycles. Our body goes through monthly cycles that doesn't allow us to work 24/7. That's why a lot of us are developing these cysts, these cancers, these fibroids, and we're getting sick. We're going against our true nature as women. Yes, I believe that we deserve the right to choose. But I don't believe that women should be condemned for choosing what makes them happy. Who created these rules anyways? That a woman can't stay home and work on her dreams. Just because you're a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean you have to give up your dreams. This is also a conversation. It's like what we're not doing is communicating. It's like what we're not doing is seeing man as an ally to women. There are some men who are a threat, and I believe that what we need to do is identify what men are threats to our femininity. The feminist movement should prioritize women's femininity. It should work to protect our femininity. But it does seem like they're working against the feminine in women, the feminine energy. We shouldn't even be rah 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 at certain rallies. Did you know Did you know man's minds turn off when you yell at them? They stop listening when you match their energy. They stop listening when you match their energy. You are exerting more energy trying to get on their level than you would be if you tone it down and woman up instead of man up. Did you know you get more you get more of what you want if you start dressing feminine, looking feminine. Femininity can be leveraged in the workplace. But when you try and look like a man, dress like a man, talk like a man, act like a man, think like a man, you're working against yourself. And you're doing more harm to your health than good. Nature chooses gender roles. Nature chooses gender roles. We just have to play our part. What do you guys think? Do you think that the feminist movement contradicts or conflicts with femininity? Do you think men need help with the heavy lifting? Men are supposed to work. Men are supposed to be comfortable doing the heavy lifting. Men are men are wired to do the heavy lifting, to take all the weight off the woman's back and put it on his own. We're not doing the world any favors when we try to take on the heavy load. We're becoming sick, ladies. And that may not even just be physical, that may be mental. A lot of us are in dire need of a spa day. And some of us need more than one visit to the spa. And then what about the children? Now this one I can speak from experience. When you have both parents working in the household, then the children get neglected. I didn't really see my parents often. And when my mom was around, she was so stressed out from work, she didn't have the emotional capacity to even cater to her children. She was more short-tempered because jobs, we have to put energy into showing up every day, even when we don't want to. So while all of our energy is going into our careers, then less energy is going into our families. We do get burnt out. We can't be everything all at once. We can't be the working mom and the loving wife and because we're gonna get exhausted. We're gonna get tired. We're gonna get burnt out. We're gonna get stressed out. And not a lot of us know how to regulate or navigate those emotions. Not a lot of us know how to correctly direct our energy. So while we're building up that stress from Tiffany talking her talk at work and saying in the office that da 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 and being and Jim is treating us unfairly and the boss isn't giving us the promotion that we asked for and that we worked for, all that energy is going to be taken into your household. Not a lot of us know how to leave our energy where it came from. And if you're going through issues at home, some of us don't know how to leave that energy at home and then take it to work. Now, Jill, who's talking all that nonsense, she's going to get a mouthful today. And then all of that stuff starts to pile up. Then we get overwhelmed. We get overworked. We're gonna get stressed out. We're gonna get burned out. We might end up developing more headaches, or we may end up getting sick. It takes some time to catch up after being burnt out. And then Saturday, you're trying to catch up. And some people take work home. And some people, they go out on Friday, they drink, they have fun. Then they're trying to catch up. They're trying to get over the hangover on Saturday. So then you have all Sunday. But then you have to give your kids some attention. And you're not gonna feel like it. You're gonna wanna rest. You're gonna wanna catch your breath on the weekend. You only have 2 days. Then you're back Monday to Friday. And you do it all over again. And then you have to beg for a vacation day, and you only have like a handful of vacation days and off days and holidays throughout the year. And then while we're so focused on a career, it takes quite some time to cultivate a relationship, to find that right person, to become friends, to develop trust, to get to know one another, get past that phase where you're trying to put on your best face. Then you have to go through the ugly phase where you guys are having issues and you're starting to argue and disagree with a lot of things. You might end up getting more because it's two different opinions, two different backgrounds, two different associations, two different cultures, two different perspectives, trying to come together and have a relationship with one another, trying to find middle ground. That takes time. And then on top of that, taking care of yourself is a full-time job. Eating on time. Some of us skip breakfast, skip lunch, just so that we have more time to work. We forget to take care of ourselves. Then the children feel neglected. I guess they develop a sense of independence, but then they miss out on certain things like self regulation. They don't get the nurturing, loving mother. They get the busy, stressed out, overwhelmed mother who's short tempered and never home. That's not pleasant. Then they may end up developing chronic anxiety or nerve damage. Because the women tend to set the tone for the household. And now that there's two masculine energies in the household, there's an imbalance. And then this imbalance causes soft males, boys who don't want to work. Boys who don't want to, I guess, make money. They don't want to work out. They don't want to put in effort. They become lazy. They don't want to fight their own battles. They give it to the female. Then the girls become so independent that they may become repulsive to a man. And none of these children will learn how to regulate their own emotions. They'll become more belligerent. They'll become more destructive. They'll become more out of touch with themselves. Just because the woman is not in the home. Just because the woman doesn't want to take on a feminine role because they believe that it's a societal construct. And if you're a feminine woman, you're falling for the patriarchal agenda. Man, femininity isn't man-made, it's God-made. And when a woman is in her feminine energy, she's more at peace. She's more happy. She's happier. She's calm. You don't hear the stress in her voice. She's more nurturing and loving because that is a woman's innate trait. Being nurturing, being loving, being caring. So when your children are crying and upset, you're not stressed out to the point where you neglect, where you dismiss, or where you invalidate them. You ask them what's wrong. You cater to their feelings. You talk out their feelings. You're more present. And a woman who is more present with her children, the children become happier. You can have a balance. These days, now that we're entering into a more tech-savvy year where the technology is advancing, we don't even need to leave the house to make money. You can work from home. The feminist movement initially was about financial inclusivity. We want to make our own money too. Now we don't have to go to that stressful job or lift heavy boxes and whatnot in order to make money. We can follow our dreams and passions and all that type of stuff. If you still want to have financial independence, and I do believe that women should have financial independence, every woman should learn how to make money on her own. She should become an asset to herself, not for a man, not for her children, not for the household, but for herself. I don't believe that a woman should be solely reliant on a man to take care of her. It leaves her handicapped. Now she has to be heavily reliant on him for everything. If she wants to go to the spa or eat what she wants, she has to go through her man. And that is restrictive. And a woman is not supposed to be restricted. She's supposed to feel free. Like a bird. like the water, like the wind. We're supposed to be expressive. We're supposed to be open and we're supposed to be loving. We're supposed to be included and feel included in society. We're supposed to feel a sense of peace and freedom and liberation. Now, some when I say liberation, I think of sexual liberation. I think that's a part of the feminist movement too. I don't agree with that at all. The only reason a woman should be sexually liberated is, or the only time a woman should want to be or fight for sexual liberation is in her household. There are women fighting for sexual liberation, and then there are other women wondering why they're being overly sexualized. That contradicts one another. How do you fight for one thing and then complain about the result that comes with it, the consequences that come with it? I do believe that having success in any career you choose gives you a sense of fulfillment. I also believe that raising a family gives you a sense of fulfillment. I believe that we need to decide for ourselves what a fulfilling life looks like. Instead of all of us speaking for one another, we need to learn to voice our own opinions and speak for ourselves and teach our kids to do the same. Feminine energy is not weak, it's strong. A lot of us just haven't been taught how to properly utilize or properly embody feminine energy. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. Put in some questions or put in some topics that you would like me to touch on. I do believe that this is a very important conversation to have. Because like I said, women, we're getting sick. We're practicing things that are out of our true nature. We're developing cysts and fibroids and cancer, and we're aging faster. We're developing mental illnesses. And then we're condemning women who live a peaceful life. Who are happy being a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mother, working from home, possibly. Because taking care of the household is a full-time job. taking care of yourself is a full-time job. Then adding a career on top of that where they take hours of your day and you know, uh, a large amount of energy. Like instead of being married to a man, we're married to our jobs. We traded one for the other. Now we're left with the question, which one is more fulfilling? Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll be seeing you next time.